are here in Fontomø doing last altitude block before we head over to Nice. Kristian, did you learn any valuable lessons racing in Frankfurt using core?
I think it was very much the same as in Texas. 30+ degrees, a little bit different humidity. In one way, it was two different way of preparing, because going into Texas, we knew it would be warm. We were already like 3 weeks in Texas because of the heat and humidity, and we got that natural adaptation by being in Texas, even though it wasn't as warm the first 2 weeks of our camp. So there we had to do like the heat training outside, basically putting on a lot of clothes, a lot of like easy runs with winter clothing on, and just feeling like an idiot running around in 25-30 degrees. Definitely like good learning to look at how the heat score and the heat train was coming in the app, and it's also like a very easy way to get like an understanding of how hard and how much heat stress are you accumulating over like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks going into a race like that.
Of course, we had enough time to do the heat prep before Frankfurt. Quite late where we really realized that it's gonna be a warm race.
We were in Bergen.
Yeah.
And that was a big difference, because then we were training in Bergen where the temperature was like 17, 18 degrees. But that's not the same as 30 degrees. Then we had to do it more like inside on the turbo.
The boring way, I would say.
Yeah.
Like not the natural way. For me, I enjoy just being in a warm climate and do the sessions warm. But I don't enjoy the heat protocols where you do basically 45 minutes where you try to get the temperature as high as possible, so maintaining the power until you're kind of cooking over, and then slowly reducing the power until the session is done. But it was no real alternatives being in Bergen, having such a short amount of time before the race in Frankfurt.
When we did the heat prep in Texas, we would like putting on extra clothes, and then we had those days still outside that were like very close to the temperature we would face on race day. We could get that sort of confident that the heart rate was stable when we did the race prep the 1 week before and 2 weeks before, and we got sort of a feeling of how we'll be on race day. While when we were training for Frankfurt, we did the heat part inside, and then we did the key sessions or Super Saturday and Super Sunday in our training outside in cooler temperature. So we never got that sort of confirmation that, yeah, like we are ready. So I was actually a bit more nervous for the heat going into Frankfurt compared to Texas.
One of the good things of doing pure heat protocol outside of like the normal training is that you can normally have higher power, higher run pace during the specific sessions, and then you have specific heat sessions, which is kind of nice, especially where I am in my training now, kind of still accelerating the load on the muscles. If I was accelerating the load on the muscles and at the same time had to adapt to the heat, that is much more difficult. So now I'm kind of isolating the like pure muscle stimuli and then the heat stimuli, which is good, but it's sometimes, as Kristian said, it's difficult to really trust that you can combine it just in a race when you are not doing like the hard session and heat session at the same time.
But I think this will maybe be the race where you can do the best heat prep you have done for like a long time. Going into Texas, you weren't really fit enough, so you had to sort of choose, do I want to stay with me and Casper and do the run session and like the pace and the power, or should you then put on extra clothes but then
suffer more?
Yeah,
alone.
suffer more, finding that balance.
Yeah.
Well, now you will already be able to do that training you need in advance, so you can sort of bleed off a little bit power, feel that you can do more heat training. But yeah, definitely we will put in heat training going into Nice. I'm not sure if I'll do like maintenance sessions as I'm up here in altitude. I find it working well just putting those in the last 2 or 3 weeks going into the race, using the easy sessions on really being like targeting getting a high core temperature and getting like really up like the sweat rate.
And what's nice doing the heat preparation the last period for the Ironman is that you can combine it really well with the tapering. The way we are normally tapering is that we still have those few long sessions, but maybe try to build down the volume total a little bit. If you're doing heat prep, you can reduce the muscle load because the internal load is still quite high. It works really well when you're kind of done with the altitude, want to hit peak sessions and then combine heat on the side.
But I would say it's important there to be confident, like feeling that you have done the job and trust yourself. Because if you try to combine both doing the heat stress and chasing the power or pace, then you can overdo it and you can be sort of feeling lack of confirmation of, yes, we are on track. Trust yourself, feel that you have done the job in advance, and then do the heat training properly, like 100% heat training.